Hello and welcome to episode 173 of the 77 Club. Oh my God, we've got no one to do the socials. Who's going to do this? Who knows the socials? They're going along the bottom of the screen if you are watching on YouTube. It's 77 Club Podcast on Twitter, Wolves 77 Club on Facebook and Instagram. I'm trying to remember, just reel off what Harry says every week. Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I reckon, yeah, we've done all right. Well, it's Christmas party season, so we're a bit all over the place at the moment. But we'll say hello as well to Dan Bayliss.
Hello, Wolves fans.
And Jack Williams.
Hello, chaps.
Jack, I'm going to start with you because there was a message that was pretty much at the final whistle that got sent through on the old WhatsApp, and you said that one hurts. And I think that's pretty much sums it up a little bit.
It did, didn't it? Because if you think since our return to the Premier League, and apart from obviously in cup games, we've never got anything against Liverpool. No. And if you were thinking on a day that it looked like it really was going to happen, where we at least eventually got a deserved point, then it was going to be last Saturday. And you know it's bad when once the game's finished and that happened at the end, I've been done with football for the whole weekend. I didn't watch any more football that weekend and didn't even take a passing interest in any other results. And just until now, really, it's the first time I've actually thought about it because I've had to have a few days to actually mentally recover because it was quite...
Sounds quite serious.
Yeah, I mean, it does get you down in that level. It's just
it does.
Like, luckily, I had plans on the Saturday night, so I just went and just forgot about football and went off and did that. But yeah, I think we deserved it. There was some heroic defending, wasn't there? And particularly when Sarr runs out and makes that error, and Jota then is through on goal, and somehow Coady gets back and is actually heroically clears it off the line. You think, right, it's got to be our day here, hasn't it? It's got to be our day. And then it just takes one little lapse in concentration. I don't want to point fingers, but obviously, Ait-Nouri kept Salah quiet pretty much the whole game. What a brilliant performance that was. It's unfortunately came off with 5 or so minutes left, and then Salah just does Hoover, and Origi has a little bit of skill, and suddenly it's game over on 93 minutes, and it actually was heartbreaking. But you got to try and be positive because what a performance that was, really, particularly a defensive performance against one of the best teams in the world, if not the best team in the world. Depending on how you look at it between them and Man City. But yeah, it was gut-wrenching, I think, is the answer.
Bayliss, like I said, it was a defensive masterclass almost. I think Liverpool had something like 67% possession, and that we know that's how they play, and that they are just so quick off the mark, aren't they? And for the first 93 minutes, it was absolutely fine.
We're very good. Wolves were very good in our own half of the pitch, but sadly we just couldn't get out, could we? Really, which was a bit of a shame. I mean, you can tell what it's like with Liverpool fans, can't you? Because 2 Liverpool fans that I know, who are obviously from Beckenham and Copenhagen, the suburbs of Western England, both messaged me, giving me some stick, and I was like,
"Oh, really?
if it takes you a 93rd minute winner to sink us, and then you have to give a bit, then we've clearly done pretty well to keep them out."
Yeah, so, definitely.
I reckon I'd have got less stick if it had been 4-0.
Yeah, I think I would have probably felt a little bit sorry for us.
There aren't too many positives to look at from a Wolves perspective other than the fact we defended pretty well. But if you do it for 99% of the match, it doesn't really matter.
I don't know. It's a different. You need to judge them by different standards, I think, when you're playing Liverpool, and you just think about how well they dug in and really, kept some of the best players in the world pretty quiet, really. And their best chance of the game was our own error, apart from obviously the goal. So you just got to praise them, really, and fair play to players like Coady, because he was obviously playing through a bit of an injury as well, that you could see he had a problem with his ankle. And it was just really, really disappointing because I honestly thought that was going to be the time where we actually finally got something against Liverpool, who to be honest have sort of convincingly beaten us every time since we come back up really in the league. And
well, the irony is, of course, that the only win is in that cup game, and that's when a very, very young Hoover came on for Liverpool. So, there seems to be a similarity.
Yeah. It's quite depressing, isn't it? And I was thinking about it a lot, actually, because although I tried to just cut it out and cut football out for the whole weekend, I was thinking about it a lot. And the things I was thinking about were, firstly, because Hoover was only on for a few minutes, do you think Salah just thought straight away, look, I used to play with him, I know him, I've got his number here, I know what I'm going to do? And as soon as they switched up opponents straight away, he just knew he had the beating of him. And then the rest is sort of history from that point. And also, when this has happened in the past, when we've gone down to only having, so let's say we've got to have Hoover and Semedo on the pitch as the wing backs. Semedo's gone over the other side and let Hoover play in his preferred position. Then you have arguably your better wing back playing on his less favoured side. Why didn't we do that this time? Was it just because there was literally 4 minutes left and they thought, oh, it's okay, we'll get away with it? Because I think if there was 20 minutes left, that wouldn't have happened. And I know it's all, again, good in hindsight, but that confused me a little bit. But I think it was just a case of, there's only a few minutes left to see this through. It'll probably be okay. But then you've ended up matching Hoover up against an old, person he used to play with, who probably knows his strengths and weaknesses more than most people. And ultimately, we paid the price. But I don't want to. I know Hoover sent a tweet out, didn't he, that he was disappointed and thought he'd let the team down. So I don't want to fixate on that too much because it obviously wasn't just his fault, but it was.
Yeah, because he looked to have tweeted, and I took it at face value, thinking it was legit, and I think everybody else did as well. Sorry for letting my teammates and the fans down this weekend. Every mistake has its lesson. I learned from this one. We keep going, but that has since disappeared, so I can't find it. So maybe he doesn't feel as sorry as he thought he did, or it was it was made up.
I think because a lot of the comments were very supportive. It was like, "Nah, come on, mate, get your heads up. There's 11 players on the pitch. It's a team game. It wasn't just you. It was a world class touch from a world class striker and
big game player." Yeah.
So and I think that's fair. So it's definitely not just obviously Hoover's fault. It's just the timing and the fact it came down the side of the player who was probably the man of the match from our team by a long way, who had probably the best game he's had in the Wolves shirt by some way. Aït-Nouri, I thought was superb. It's just it's just a bit, a bit heartbreaking. And also, I think sometimes in the last few minutes, and this is another thing I saw on the Twitter sphere quite a lot, is does taking Traore off just invite the pressure on? Because suddenly we don't have an outball anymore. And he did cause some problems, Traore. You can't, out of the three up front, he was by far the biggest attacking threat going forwards, or the breakaway threat going forwards. And then taking him off, I think, does that just give the other team a little bit of a lift because they think, oh, hang on, we can push forward now. They haven't got this man machine who can just run past us at any point. So yeah, those would be my two criticisms. Probably just why did Hoover come on that side, and why did they take Traore off? But if it had just played out to be a 0-0, we won't be talking about it. We'll be saying what a great defensive performance. So can't get too disappointed, even though I was very upset for 3 days.
It's very, very fine margins, isn't it? I mean, we were talking about it last week with Traore's chance against Burnley, and fine margins. If it goes in, we're all talking about wonder goal, and then on the other hand, we're hammering him for making the wrong decision. Bayliss, I think we pretty much called the starting 11, maybe apart from Dendoncker, partner in Neves in the middle. That was probably the only one that we didn't call. Were you surprised with that, or do you need that sort of more physical threat?
I think I said it at the time. I can't remember. It was a week ago.
I'll have to play it back.
Time, no one bother. Yeah, and we can talk about this until the cows come home, and it's just one of those that's a gut-wrenching bad second, and it happened to be at the very end of the game. If that had happened in the, they really should have put it to bed, and Jota should have scored, and then it'd have been a different game. Wolves have had to opened it up to try and get a point, and it would have been really different. I don't know. I thought Dendoncker played reasonably well. I can't fault too much. It's just a very good football team beat us. And
you said that. You said that last week, and we don't know what team's going to show up, and you said Liverpool, and they're very, very good, and they are, aren't they? They're only kept off top spot by a point or two, isn't it? And we're playing Man City next, so that'll be fun. Is there a man of the match in there though, Bayliss?
Well, it's Aït-Nouri, isn't it?
I think, I would tend to agree.
I definitely agree. Yeah, I mean, but you got to give honourable mentions to players like Kilman and Coady. I think we mentioned already, and I think nobody had a bad game really. Sarr had his one moment of madness, and I would say there wasn't very much offered from the front two that weren't Traore, so Jimenez and Hwang really. But again, it's this team you're playing against and at the stand of the opposition. But particularly from the midfield and defence, can't really fault anybody, which just makes it a little bit more disappointing.
One thing I would say is I would have rather watched that game, the 2-1 that we lost, than that 1-0. At least we had a go and got down the sides and created trouble for them. Although Traore might have caused a little bit of trouble, I don't think it was that much. I don't think Liverpool really were too worried with us.
I don't know. I think you could see that every time Traore got on the ball that he was. They just don't know what to do with him really, and he was the one player who looked like something was going to come from. But yeah, hey ho. I mean, we did have some chances though. You think? I just remember like Dendonker's one. I think it was probably going to be called offside, and we did create him a few problems. It wasn't just completely one-sided battering, and we parked the bus for 90 minutes. Like this story will probably tell. I didn't watch Match of the Day, but that's probably what it looked like on Match of the Day. But I don't think it was like that. We were still a threat, although we did have to sit. We had to try and take our chances and contain them quite well. And the one criticism would be is that when we did get those chances and those breakaways, we weren't clinical enough or just together enough in the final third to actually make them pay. But we had a few chances, and I think that's all you can really ask for against a team of Liverpool standard. They did us proud, really. I think they did us proud, and most people on here last week were saying it was going to be 3 or 4, and I never thought it'd be that many. And it wasn't really. It was lucky to be 1 in the end. So, hey ho, at least we got an easy game Saturday to
Nice little trip to the Etihad. Just before we move on to Man City, actually, I think Tim Spears had written something in The Athletic saying question marks have been raised about Silva's attitude against Burnley. That was last Wednesday night. Silva, along with Trincao and Hoover, had to be told to warm up properly by coach Alex Silva, and the trio were stood motionless by the corner flag watching the game. I sort of remember them being like that, obviously sitting in the North Bank, and they were just pretty much stood there and stuff. Do you think he's got an attitude problem, Bayliss? Is it a bit of a prima donna? Will be on pretty good money, I imagine, for your average 19-year-old.
Nothing like a poor journalist to take a 3-second bit of something and define someone's entire attitude by it, is there really? He did one bad thing and got told to go and warm up properly. He's a professional sportsman. They get told what to do for pretty much most of their life, don't they? So I don't think we can judge his entire attitude on standing still for a couple of minutes on a Wednesday night game that wasn't particularly entertaining to watch. So
was bloody cold as well.
It's Tim Spears trying to get some £1 a month subscriptions to his awful website.
Jack, anything in it? Do you reckon? Do you think it was a mix of backroom staff getting told to warm up properly?
I don't know, really. I don't know if, again, it's just like probably similar to what Dan said. Is it putting 2 and 2 together and getting 15? I don't know, but you don't know what players are like behind the scenes, really. But I wouldn't have thought someone like Fabio Silva, unless he has had his head spun by the price tag, would be coming in and being that sort of
Jack
thing in the dressing room when he's 19. I wouldn't have thought so.
Jack, it's proper fish wrapper journalism. It really is.
Fish wrapper journalism.
Yeah.
Oh, as in like when
it belongs wrapping fish, not to be read. Right. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't forget your 1950s references all the time. But
you get what I'm saying? He's had to write something for the week. He couldn't find anything particularly interesting, so that's what he went with.
Go after Fabio Silva. Let's have a look at Manchester City.
Oh,
Oh, go on. Wait, what?
Whoa. One more thing. You've been quite quiet about Liverpool, Sam. What were you doing on Saturday at 3:00? Because
I was at the game.
There's no way that you're going to watch rugby instead of football and get away with it.
Okay, that's true. I thought that they would definitely move the Liverpool game. So as soon as I saw it was 3:00 on a Saturday, I was like, that game will never, ever stay 3:00 on a Saturday. It just doesn't happen. So I thought, okay, I want to go and watch the rugby with my cousin. We'll do a double date, but it does fall with the Liverpool game. And obviously I thought it would move, and it didn't move. Then got close to the game. I was like, oh my God, it's actually not going to move. And then it turns out I made a great decision. So what can I say? There were free. It was actually by 1 point, which in rugby terms is unbelievable. I think it was 33-32. But at half time, we got 7 free pints of Guinness because the card machine broke. And because they're so much better than football, is that they have Guinness on draft anyway. And secondly, they pre-pour them so that when they're topping them up, you actually get like what is close to a proper pint of Guinness. And they poured all these half pints. And then we were stood there and the woman just said, well, look, we've got no more Guinness. So do you want these Guinness? And we were like, yeah, we'll have them. And then they finished pouring them to their full potential pint and then handed them over. I was like, we need to go to the rugby more often. Well, it was 35 quid behind the goals, and I thought that was quite steep.
That's quite steep. Was here. He just had a trouser accident.
Well, he did. Oh, you should have seen it. I sent the photo through. We just both couldn't believe it.
Right.
But yeah, so let's have a look at Manchester City. And I don't know what we do here, because it looks like Coady could miss his first league game of the season and for a very, very long time because of that ankle issue you mentioned, Jack. What do we do next?
Well, also, has anyone heard anything about Aït-Nouri? I've told you I've not been looking at any football stuff for the last 4 days, so I had to have a break. But is he going to be fit? He was taken off with an injury as well. And I've been saying it all year. December is going to kill us with the schedule and the fact we've got no players coming. And so who's going to play centre back? Like me? I'm going.
Who is? Who? I mean, in the predicted 11, I've got Marcel if he's good to go.
Well, potentially what's going to happen is we're going to have to play Bolly and Marcel, and then we have no other proper first team defenders in case anyone gets injured, really. So you're going to have to play Kilman, Sace and Bolly, Marcel at fullback if Aït-Nouri is injured and Coady are both injured, Semedo, and then you've got Hoover. And that went well at the weekend, didn't it? So sorry, I said I wasn't going to fixate on it. Sorry.
It's just what he needs, isn't it? After a bad performance against the team in second, and then facing the first place team in Manchester City, who just seem to score goals for fun. I mean, it looks like Foden and Ake will have late fitness tests. They were both withdrawn due to injury midweek in the Champions League against Leipzig. And then you've got Jesus and Laporte. They're going to have late fitness tests too. So, I mean, they just have an embarrassment of riches, don't they, Bayliss, to pick from? And Wolves just have completely the opposite at the moment.
Pretty much bare bones, aren't we? It's one of those classic ones where you're like, well, it could be an absolute rout in here. What's the record score? How many nils are it going to be? I just
love it.
Just saying to me, 1-0 Wolves.
Well, wasn't it like this going into the last time we beat them at City? That it was off the back of some really poor results. I'm sure it was, because I remember thinking we don't know when we're going to get our first win or our next win of the season, because it's quite early on in the season, wasn't it? I'm sure it was going into that sort of game, and it was.
We'd played on Thursday in Europa League. I think that was kind of like, we got to go travel. I can't remember which game.
Was it Istanbul, actually?
It was one of the group games. It might have been Istanbul, but we definitely travelled and then had to play on the Sunday. And we thought, okay, we'd be knackered with our small squad, and then somehow pulled it out of the bag. So there was definitely that thrown in there. But I think the performance against Liverpool gives us a bit of hope for this. And so, why not? But again, just looking at the squad, and if players are missing, we can't afford any injuries. And it's only the 9th of December. Wait until the end of the month, when it's just like you have a game every 2 days over Christmas. And I don't know. I think it's going to be, let's be honest, it's a very tough game. I mean, that game against Leipzig in the week, I think they rotated pretty heavily looking at it. I didn't watch it. I just saw the teams. But their rotation means that they start Grealish rather than put him on the bench and this sort of stuff. It's ridiculous. So we've got to compete against that. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I just hope that they're not too disheartened after that result, that last-minute goal against Liverpool, really, because they shouldn't be. So
there's a brilliant stat, which is just going along the bottom of the screen at the moment, and I'm just going to have to hide it now so I can read it out. This fixture's average of 3.82 goals per game is the highest of any to have been played at least 60 times in the English league. That is a brilliant stat. So, I mean, it's going to be high scoring. It's just the chances are that it's not going to be Wolves high scoring. That's the only problem.
Not anymore. I'd imagine back in the day, there's probably a few that were quite high scoring because of Wolves, because Man City have only been a force for the last 15 years or so, haven't they, really? So that is a good stat, though.
Bayliss, how would you approach this one?
Take the missus Christmas shopping, rugby. I mean, the cricket's a shower of shit, so you can't watch that.
It's your two loves, isn't it?
I'm struggling. Enjoy it. Drink as much booze as you possibly can and enjoy it, because it might not be that enjoyable on the pitch.
I'm on a 7:30 train from Euston that gets into Manchester about 9:20. Can't wait. It'll be great. It's nearly kick off as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah, 12:30. So that's going to be fun for everybody involved. I mean, we seem quite down at the moment, don't we? I mean, usually Harry would maybe pick it up, but let's do a score prediction. Starting with you, Jack.
8-0. No, I'm joking. We always. It's never as bad as we usually think it is. So it'll probably be
7-0
to what I said last week. 2-0 City.
2-0 City. The aggregate score for last season was 7-2. Bayliss?
I think it will be 4-0. I think if Coady doesn't play and we're stretched and Hoover's and Ain't Nori's not fit, we might be in for one, unfortunately.
I think you might be right, but I'm obviously going to go 2-1 Wolves. Let's look at your latest betting odds and ticket news.
This really sums up the disparity in the game. It's absolutely brilliant. So Wolves just to win, 20-1.
Really? Because it was 7s against Liverpool, and I thought that was mental.
Gundogan to score first and City to win 4-0 is 30-1.
That seems quite short.
2-0 Wolves, Traore first goal, 2,000-1.
2,000-1? Have they not learned anything from that Leicester year when they won the league?
Just for our prize winner of the year, for the highest odds we'll ever read out. Nelson Semedo to score first, 2-2 draw.
Oh, well.
I mean
it's got to be 5,000, isn't it? Ish.
4,000-1.
4,000-1?
I'm not lying.
That is just, that's worth the Sky Bet, isn't it?
I mean, 20-1 is mental. I mean, I seem to remember Middlesbrough beat them a few years ago, going back quite a few years ago, and they're about 20-1 then. And surely they got a better chance than Middlesbrough. I think it was a cup game as well when they were in the Championship. And
we haven't scored a goal in quite a while.
Yeah, that's true, but it only takes one goal, doesn't it? I don't know.
They've scored 8.
20-1 in a 3-horse race, though. That's bigger than I thought it was going to be, especially after we've done them there in recent years. The problem is now that I've started backing these stupid scorecasts, particularly involving Semedo, and I'm going to have to keep backing them now until one of them happens, which means...
Well, yeah.
The year was 2048.
But
oh my God. That is ridiculous. I didn't think we'd ever have something in the thousands. I mean,
that's something that's been in the low hundreds for most other games.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like a tenner on that if it happens, like you said it, and you're literally looking at 40 grand.
I didn't know you were good at maths.
I know, but I'm just saying that's ridiculous, isn't it, really?
You'd have £40,010 back. Jack has some ticket news.
Yes, I do. Sorry, I don't know what caught me off guard then. I was expecting it at some point. So, anyway, home games. Chelsea, home game, pretty much sold out. Good luck with that. So this has surprised me, actually, because I thought the Boxing Day game against Watford would sell out pretty quickly because the Boxing Day games usually do. A couple of things probably affecting that. One is the early kickoff. Everyone will be hungover on day after Christmas, probably, for a 12:30. And also, it looks like the away fans are in the quadrant. So there's still a few tickets available in like in the lower Steve Bull if you did want to take a family member. The problem here, though, is that you do need to have a membership to buy any tickets now, unless like they do go really far down and eventually reach general sale. But there's no date for that even at the moment anyway. So, but if you did want to take a family member, the option is there, and maybe there'll be a few spares flying about, or people who will lend you the membership number or something like that. So
I could actually do one. So someone please tweet us. I need 2 tickets.
Well, I've just said they're on sale, Dan. You can buy one.
I haven't got a membership though. I can't go buy 2 tickets, can I?
If you buy a membership, you can. Come on, money bags.
I've got a season ticket. I've already given them a load of money.
Can I say that if this one doesn't sell out, then we can end the argument of not being able to ever go and watch a game?
Oh, definitely. I mean, let me have a little
let
me have a little quick look now and see. There's probably about.
So I just want to put the argument to bed, and then no one can complain ever again if it's not sold out. And if it's a Christmas argument, if it's inconvenient, then it's never going to be convenient for you, is it?
Looking at it now, there's probably about 250 to 300 left, so it's not far off selling out. But I agree. Like, yeah, if you can't go when it's Christmas.
Oh, it's an early kickoff. Oh, it's a late kickoff. Oh, it's a Wednesday. What you want? You want Man United at home at 3:00 on a Saturday? Is what you're trying to say?
Yeah,
that would be
basically
the argument. Excellent. Well, I think I've probably riled enough people with that.
You always
forget the overseas Wolves fans.
Can I do the away games, please? Come on.
Yes, you can. Sorry,
you must have known the drill by now.
Yeah,
so Brighton, I think, is officially sold out. There's a few flying around on the socials, as we know. So I can't remember. Did I do ticket information for Arsenal last time? I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, I don't think so. So that is a 12:30 kickoff on the 28th of December. So that's basically 24 hours after the Watford game. So the allocation for that is 3,000. That's currently on sale on the points. I think they're on about 1,080 as of Friday morning. There's only a few hundred left for that, so those will be gone pretty quickly. And also after that, it doesn't get much easier. The next away game on the 3rd of January, which is a 5:30 on a Monday night, which is just fucking annoying. That is Man United away. That is on sale to the gold season ticket holders as of Friday, the silvers as of Monday, then on the points, starting with 1,100 as of Wednesday, the 15th of December. And I will not be going to that, I don't think, because I've got to get a train back to bloody London on a Monday night when why couldn't they just keep it on the Saturday? Like,
You could go back with all the Man United fans.
Yeah, true. Could do, yeah.
Let's have a look at let's do FA Cup first. So Wolves will play Sheffield United in the FA Cup at Molyneux on the 8th of January. Jack, what were you saying about TV revenue? I mean, we'll obviously talk about the tie. I mean, it's a bit of a nothing tie for me. Usually they are in the 3rd round. I suppose we'll get to see John Ruddy in action and probably most of the first team because we haven't got any players.
So what are you talking about, Wolves in general, or just about the FA Cup? Because the thing that riled me about the FA Cup was and quite a few people, I've seen it on Twitter quite a lot today, is they did the selection for the TV games for the 3rd round. Obviously, Wolves Sheffield United is never going to be picked for that because it's not exactly a glamour tie or very interesting. But they basically focused their TV picks on the big Premier League clubs, really. And, they've chosen games like Man United, Aston Villa, or Premier League tie, Nottingham Forest versus Arsenal, which happens every year, I think, in some cup competition, West Ham against Leeds, and just sort of completely ignored the minnows, or I say that with the most respect, but the smaller clubs. And surely the FA Cup 3rd round is about these non-league clubs and these lower league clubs who get into this and then have their chance at having a shot at the big guys. I mean, teams like Boreham Wood, teams like Kidderminster Harriers, really. Kidderminster Harriers are playing Reading. They're in they're below the National League now, so in the league below that. And the extra TV money that these teams get for just being televised in that round is £85,000. Which is nothing to Man United, Aston Villa, Leeds, West Ham, but it's an awful lot to teams like Kidderminster Harriers.
Yeah, especially after a pandemic.
Exactly, and they've just completely overlooked. But surely the magic of the Cup is getting the really smallest teams left in the competition to have a go against a Football League team, whether that be a Championship team or a Premier League team, whoever, and then having that special occasion, that chance that they might pull off a massive upset, and in the turn, even if they don't, getting some much needed TV revenue. But they've sort of decided
what channels got them, Jack.
It's actually spread out, so it's between BBC and ITV, so it's all the terrestrial channels, but they've basically just gone, Man United, let's put Man United, let's put Man City Swindon is fair enough, I agree with that, because that is a lower league against an upper one. But some of these other games, I think it's a bit of a push, really. I mean, Hull versus Everton, yeah, granted, it's, but teams that used to be in the Championship, but I don't think they broadcast any of the non-league teams that are left, and then they haven't, so,
And the thing is, it's not going to be Man United and Aston Villa. It's going to be Man United versus Aston Villa reserves. No one's going to play a full strength side in that. It's a complete waste of time.
Yeah, I know, but the problem is it'll probably bring in more views. Yeah, that's what it's about, isn't it? So, but yeah, it's a bit disheartening, I think, really, particularly when that money would mean so much more to some of the other clubs than it would do to Man United. I mean, it doesn't even pay Fred's wages for a week, does it? Man United probably. So
nowhere near. I wouldn't have thought. That's the thing, and I'm sure Football Focus will go and do like a big 5-minute package or something on Kidderminster Harriers and the magic of it, and then talk about all that bollocks, and then say, and tune in later for Manchester United versus Aston Villa. And Bayliss, what are your thoughts?
I agree. The Man Uniteds of the world get enough time on television and enough money from it and the whole point of having a public broadcaster is that they're supposed to show lots of different ranges of things, not at every opportunity pick Man United and Liverpool or Man City. And they do it every year. So unless you draw one of those teams, you're not really going to get a look in. Even if they'd have said, okay, we'll make Kidderminster Harriers 7:30 on a Friday night, at least give them a chance to have it on telly. But to just pick the big teams, yeah, fair enough, Swindon, as you said, but
that's the whole point, though, isn't it? Because the magic of the Cup is that you have one team that is not glamorous at all, and you have a team that you would say is maybe an elite club, or at least in the top 20 in the English pyramid. That's the draw, isn't it? So you can go, it's only Swindon, but it's against Man City, and that makes it the glamour time.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
But Man United Villa, and it genuinely will be their reserves.
Mm.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know, who wouldn't rather sit and watch a team from the National Conference North play against a team from the Championship? That's great.
Also, I'm just going looking at it through them. Chelsea are playing Chesterfield, and that's not on telly. Chesterfield
That would be a perfect one. Perfect.
And like, what's all that about? It's no. We'll put I don't know. It's just,
who makes these decisions? Honestly,
it obviously just is done on which teams we think will bring in the most viewers and the most overseas viewers, particularly in the way of Man United Villa. Like you say, Man United reserves versus Villa reserves. So yeah.
So from one cup competition in January to another one that is heavily going to affect us, the African Cup of Nations. So it begins next month. Apparently 40 Premier League players are going to be in the cohort going to Africa. And I think it's Watford have got the most players eligible. They've got 6, although 2 of those are likely to miss through injury. But obviously, we've spoken on the podcast so much, haven't we, about losing. I mean, I don't know if Bolly will go. To be honest, he hasn't had any game time, but I think he improves most sides, I would say. But then if you haven't got the minutes, you're not in any sort of form, are you? So Sace is the other one with Morocco. But it could be that they leave after the Boxing Day games. And if the country reaches the final, you're not looking at getting them back again till the 12th of February. So it's a long old slog, isn't it? And I suppose to tie it in, because we've obviously spoken about the frustrations of having that small squad anyway, and I think Bruno has done that as well, to be fair, is that how seriously will he take the FA Cup if he hasn't got the players to furnish it? These 2 cup competitions could be really problematic, couldn't they, Jack?
Yes, potentially. I know there's some joking around on social media about they should recall Gibbs White and then make him play against Sheffield United and then send him back. But yeah, I mean, regular listeners will know that I've been worried about this for a while, really. I actually thought we were going to lose them a little bit sooner than Boxing Day, so that's at least one good thing if it's not until then. I see the tournament starts on, I think it's like the 10th of January or something like that. So, yeah, it's going to be a difficult time. And I think a lot of people are also just banking on the fact that, it's January, then we can sign some players. But it's not that simple. We don't usually do our business early in the window. If you bring a player in, they've got to embed into the team. It's not as simple as, it's not like buying a car. You've got to they've got to be some understanding there and some level of fitness and all these assessments and this thing. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult. But, that's it now. There's not much we can do about it, is there? We just got to hope that Bruno doesn't get shafted by some misjudgments, probably by the board.
And to be fair, I mean, it's not obviously just Wolves that are going to be negatively impacted by it. I mean, Liverpool are going to lose Salah, Mane and Keita. So, I mean, they could be, but they obviously got the squad to deal with it. And I don't know, Bayliss, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Ain't Nori would obviously be a loss if he goes, but other than that, it's not really going to affect us too badly. Does Sace get picked still?
Yeah, that's what we will lose. Sace and Bolly, the 2 we're going to lose. 2 defenders, we haven't got defenders.
I thought Ain't Nori
there was talk about Ain't Nori being possible, but I haven't heard anything since, so I don't think it's actually going to happen. I mean, the way he's going, he could get called up for France if he progresses. So, but it's a tough team to get into, isn't it? France?
Why do they keep doing it? Why do they keep putting the Africa Cup of Nations during the Premier League season?
Why? Because it's bloody hot if you're playing in Africa in July. That's why.
Well, we've picked a World Cup in bloody Qatar, which is literally just a desert.
And we're playing in December.
It's still just a desert.
That works, isn't it?
Well, it's amazing that they moved it for that. Can you name between you the 4 Premier League teams that don't have any African players?
Burnley.
Norwich.
Burnley isn't one of them, actually. Burnley have got one. Right. Maxwell Cornet of the Ivory Coast.
Norwich.
Norwich don't have any.
Brighton.
No, Brighton do. Brighton have one. Bissouma, Mali.
It's going to be teams towards the lower end, you'd think, wouldn't you?
I think it might be. No, it might be. It might surprise you. I mean, one of them is in the bottom half of the table.
Leeds
don't have one. One is in the bottom 3.
So it's Burnley, Norwich, Newcastle,
correct. And one more. Got one more who are in the top 10. I'd say maybe even top 8. I haven't actually looked at the league table for a while.
West Ham.
It is. Are we going to say Spurs, Jack?
I was going to say Spurs, yeah.
Yeah, it's Spurs. West Ham have got Ben Rama. Man City have only got one in Mahrez, so they're doing quite well out of it. 2 for Southampton. And to be fair,
where are these 40 coming from then?
Well, Watford have got 6, Arsenal 4. Arsenal have got 4, Palace have got 4, Leicester have got 4, Villa 3, Brentford 3, Liverpool 3, Chelsea 2, Everton 2, Man United 2, Southampton 2, Wolves 2, Albion, Brighton Hove Albion 1, Burnley, Man City, West Ham all got 1 as well. So that is your 40. And to be fair, looking at the fixtures though, from end of December and we've got Watford on Boxing Day, and unfortunately they're all going to play on that one. So we haven't done anything good with that, I suppose. And Chelsea we've got on 19th December. Arsenal, I suppose, possibly, but no, it won't really affect everybody else because we've obviously got bigger squads. But yeah, what we were going to do though is put that call out for those of you who are listening in a foreign land. And I don't know if Bayliss is going to try and offend people from those countries. I'm sure he will do. You don't have to ask him twice. We've got one here. Hey guys, dropping a DM as requested. I listened to your podcast while working. I'm from India. Been a Wolves fan for around 2 years now. Love the work you guys do. Come on, you Wolves. Then we've got John Canning. Just finished the latest pod. Excellent work again. I'm listening from New Jersey in the States. Heap all the abuse you want on New Jersey. There isn't much we haven't heard already.
That's true, isn't it? Like most people.
Let's be honest. I know there was one very bad TV show about Jersey. Wasn't it? Those knobs with the spiky hair.
Jersey Boys.
Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore.
I think it was. It's the only thing I know about it.
Snooky.
Isn't it like the shit bit of New York? Like
basically, I just know from like How I Met Your Mother, and it's like they always look down on New Jersey because they're from New York, and obviously it's very next to each other, aren't they? Just across the water. But
American banter. Chris, listening from Denmark on the commute to work, originally from Kings Winford, and a former season ticket holder, enjoying the podcast, lads. Anything about Denmark? Beautiful women, and
I've worked with a Dane who's taking the piss out of me all week because he's one of the Liverpool fans. So
excellent, right? Maybe they know each other.
Danish people already.
And Rich says, listening on the train from Budapest to, somewhere where I would try and pronounce it, but as it's very, very Hungarian, it's just a lot of Z's and Y's that shouldn't be that close to each other.
Have a go.
Esztergom. Esztergom.
Oh.
ESZ, obviously. TERGOM. Hungry? No, I've just eaten. Excellent. Right. Okay. We'll leave that there for another week. Jack, enjoy that very, very early train trip to the Etihad. Hopefully, you come away with 3 points for us because you're starting centre back. And obviously, everybody get on those stupidly crazy thousands of something to one bets because it's just typical, isn't it, that would happen.
It's happened before, isn't it?
It's happened before, and it can happen again. Excellent. We'll say goodbye to Jack Williams.
Goodbye, everybody.
And Dan Bayliss.
Yeah, goodbye.
And it is a goodbye from me. Goodbye.